Before we get started in this video, let me mention that this is an ever-developing situation. The leaks went live about 14 hours ago as of me recording this video. So I will be updating you with information as this situation develops. So be sure you are subscribed and have the notification bell on. Also, on that note, if you aren't in the loop about what's going on, I made a video about 14 minutes long earlier today right on the channel. I'll leave a link in the description as well that you can take a look at if you are out of the loop. That video will certainly get you in the loop. With that said, though, if you are aware of this situation and what's going on, now I will show you how the champions for Funimation are scrambling like mad right now to try to remedy this situation, downplay it, do everything they can for, you know, good old damage control. Welcome back. We're going to get right into it now. I've got all sorts of posts to go over with you, comment on from Twitter, from Reddit, from other forums online. I have been doing a lot of due diligence this morning, and well, let's take a look. Starting with a post on Reddit, Out of the Loop, a very, very popular and active and well-known subreddit, had a question there a number of hours ago. A thread titled, "What's going on with Funimation?" It reads, "I just checked Twitter and saw that Funimation is trending because it's been doing some kind of immoral dubbing. Most of the posts include references to Dragon Ball and someone linked to this video. Can someone explain what exactly happened?" Now, the thread comment section was a bit conflicted. A lot of people are defending Funimation and spreading a false narrative. However, there are some good replies in the comment section as well. But why don't we start with one of the most upvoted answer, and you can make your own opinion on it. Here it is. Take a look. Answer: when recording, voice actors will often joke in character when warming up and just to mess around. This clip leaked from the voice actor of Goku, in which he made blank remarks about a clip he was dubbing in the voice of the main character, Son Goku. 1,500 upvotes, the most upvoted post in that thread, at least as the time that I was looking there. Now, this shows a big problem with Reddit. Big problem with Reddit. You have people upvote stuff when they don't really know what's going on, because that answer is not correct at all. At all. This clip is not simply just warming up. In my opinion, it's a skit. They had dialogue in mind. They used Bruce Faulkner's score for it. They basically gave it its own OST. This is not simply warming up or bloopers. In my opinion, this was a premeditated skit that they did. It is entirely different, and that post doesn't represent the truth at all. At all. The response: does this have anything to do with Vic? The response to that: yeah, it's part of the leaks from inside Funimation and other people related to voice actors about the defendants of the Vic defamation case. Who's Vic and what is this case about? Another user asks, and they get the response: Vic is a high-profile voice actor for Funimation. Not anymore. He played Broly in Dragon Ball, which is why people keep bringing up Dragon Ball. He's had other notable roles like Ed from Full Metal Alchemist and Tamaki from Ouran Host Club. There have been many claims against Vic for a number of reasons from his co-workers. Following a surge of these complaints, Funimation dropped Vic from the roles that he still had. Vic then sued Funimation and the voice actors for defamation. I mean, there's so much more to it than that. He was also dropped by Rooster Teeth, another user writes, saying since he was voicing a main character for the show RWBY. Indeed. As you can see, Reddit not giving the best answers, and you have some people straight up making posts like this. Can I get a who cares? Honestly, I'm sure nobody cracks jokes and is crass when they're among coworkers in a presumably private setting. These people really miss the main point here, that they are misusing intellectual property. They are neglecting to delete it. In my opinion, it's negligence because they had recorded something that could hurt the IP that they're licensing. They stored that on their servers for what I presume to be years and years and years. They neglected it. They should have deleted it. They didn't do that. That has now been exposed, and now the intellectual property is being dragged through the mud. I think it's pretty straightforward, but you're dealing with a lot of people who have absolutely no business sense and really just not much sense in general either. And that's not even me getting into the poor use of Bruce Faulkner's OST. I don't think he expected his music to be used, his name, his music to be used in something like that. So that's a whole other issue that these people seem to neglect. This post, however, stood out from the rest. You have all kinds of people trying to protect Funimation in that thread. It's quite ridiculous. However, this user did actually shed some light on the situation in a good manner. Now, while they were not the most upvoted comment, as you can see, only 947 compared to the previous one, some people did throw a bone, giving them Reddit gold, Reddit silver. Now, what's funny is the really upvoted comment that we saw previously didn't get that. The people supporting it, are only willing to do a limited amount of work. But here, you have a good answer, and people are supporting it, as you can see. So let's see what it says. Answer, it's related to the Vic lawsuit. Recently, there was quite a big info dump on defendants in this case who are being sued for defamation. Vic by accusing him of a number of things, and turned out that one of them actually did terrible things to his own wife, and the rest had recorded bloopers. Again, I don't think they're bloopers in my opinion. I guess that'll be my complaint with this post, with quite a bit of very tacky jokes, let's put it that way. The language was a bit different than that, though, with Dragon Ball character voices, by the way. And that is a good thing to bring up, because that is one of the big issues there. This user writes, why are you getting downvoted? You're actually right. So I assume this post actually was negative downvotes at one point. Goes to show how one-sided Reddit is. Now, not all Reddit's like that, Kotaku in Action, for example, is a good subreddit. RBJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is a good subreddit. There are good subreddits out there. Reddit No Sleep's pretty good. Anyways, I'm still out of the loop. What is going on with the lawsuit and who is Vic, writes another user. And the response is, he is the voice actor for Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z who got fired by Funimation and other places he worked because of a number of these issues brought forward. He is now suing a couple of people who accused him and Funimation. It's currently not very clear if he is innocent or not, and both sides are currently fighting a full-scale battle on Twitter with the hashtags KickVic and I Stand With Vic. Now, while Reddit Out of the Loop was filled mostly with people trying to spread misinformation and defend Funimation in the thread, it at least had a good number of people that were trying to spread what they believe to be the truth of the situation as well. However, Reddit Anime had a different set of issues here. Here you see literal censorship, something that Reddit is pretty known for. So a post on our anime was made titled, "Not sure why no one has posted about this, but apparently Funimation has been exposed for having secret Dragon Ball Z recordings where the characters made very poor jokes." It's trending on Twitter right now. That thread was up, I believe, for a few hours, about 4.5 hours or so. And guess what? It then got locked. The excuse, anime mod writing, the comments have been locked because of uncivil and off-topic discussions. Really what that means probably is, well, the people who are defending Funimation are starting to lose momentum in this thread, so we're going to lock it. That's probably what that means. That's usually how it works. If the narrative they want is successfully being painted in the thread, they will leave it open. But as soon as that narrative starts to get taken over and the truth is put out there, oh, they can't have that. They got to lock the thread. They got to stop it right then and there. And that's exactly what happened, it seems. Before the thread was locked, however, here's an example of the Reddit users spreading misinformation to try to protect Funimation. They don't even know what they're talking about. Look at this guy, right? I don't even see how or why this is an issue. Probably because you have no idea how business works. Except for the fact that we'd all live better and be happier if people just admitted already that, yeah, we all can make dirty or bad jokes in private settings. It doesn't mean we somehow think all these things we joke about are good. You are completely missing the point. This is not just jokes in a private setting. This is jokes in a workplace, and all the reasons I already outlined. You have contracts being breached. Funimation's own contract says that they can't do things like this. And here they are, not only advocating it, but allowing it in their own establishment as well with people they are contracting. You don't understand any of that, do you, poster? He writes, there's a difference between making a blank joke and making a blank joke in front of a person who had been affected by that. He makes a really bad analogy here, saying, like, you can make a joke that's bad, but don't make it in front of someone who might take it the wrong way or something. Really bad analogy. Then he writes, the joke itself doesn't do anything bad, but in the second case, it can cause the other person to dig up some bad memories. Again, this person is just thinking this is like some dynamic, a social dynamic. They have no business sense. It's evident. They think this is like literally just like a joke between friends or something. That's not what's going on here at all. Oh my gosh. Says, and that is why it's not done. Not because blank. Jokes are inherently immoral, or it's cut off a little bit. Or turn people into blank, which is not a thing. Yeah, very poor point. And the response to that, someone agreeing with him. And look at these upvotes, man. 184. The other one's cut off, but you know it's more than 184 for sure. Yeah, these clips are clearly meant to be private, and some of them sound pretty old, but people are acting like Funimation executives personally called for these clips to be made and posted to the internet to specifically spite Vic. Yeah, okay. Anytime someone brings up that argument, oh, they're old. I'm just going to reiterate the same thing. That doesn't make it better. As a matter of fact, I can make a good argument that points to it being worse. The fact that they, I'm going to repeat myself here, but it's relevant. The fact that they made these clips that are detrimental to the IP that they are licensing and stored them for years without deleting them is arguably even worse. So that's also a very bad point. Now, this wouldn't be a successful video of people championing for Funimation if we didn't include everyone's favorite super lawyer, Buzz Lightyear. You know, we call him something else, but you know why I didn't say it. Anyways, continuing on here. So, our favorite super lawyer wrote, we're looking at the tweet on the bottom first. This is on Twitter. Said, with Funimation trending, it's very important that you do not mention that Vic is a well-known and documented all these things in any tweets with the hashtags. Also, definitely don't include excerpts from Vic's deposition when using hashtag funny leaks or hashtag not funny. And then he retweeted that on his own profile and said, court starting, so I'm going to be MIA without signal for a bit. Please do not, under any circumstances, retweet the below tweet while I'm gone, because I have a blue check, and it would end up at the top of top and trending, and more people would see it. Clearly, he's being facetious with that. He wants people to retweet it. I think it's pretty obvious he's being sarcastic. At least that's my take on it. And you know, it's pretty telling. He's doing everything he can to try to silence the truth from being out there. He wants to manipulate the hashtags so that the reality of the situation, which really, we can separate this from the Vic issue. On one hand, the Vic issue makes it even more proliferated because it shows how hypocritical these people are. But hypothetically, if the Vic issue was never a thing and this audio got leaked, it would still be an issue because it, again, is hurting the IP that they're licensing. It's not good for Toei, and they're breaching their own contracts by doing this stuff. Literally, it's against their policy. So it exposes hypocrisy for that reason as well, Vic stuff aside. The Vic stuff just puts the icing on the cake, so to speak, makes it that much sweeter. But without the Vic stuff being involved, this would still be bad. And not just because they said mean things, but because it shows how they don't really care about the Dragon Ball IP. At least in my opinion, they don't. If they did, they wouldn't make a mockery out of it. And again, the other issue I'm going to raise that I don't see anyone talking about, or at least not very many people talking about it, let me rephrase that, is how they added Bruce's score to this. That makes it way worse. Again, you can't just drag his name into this and expect it to be totally fine, because it's not fine. What's interesting, though, is our favorite super lawyer there says that since he has a blue check, his posts will be at the top of trending more so. So I guess, I didn't know that, to be honest. Maybe you didn't know that either. I was already, and pretty much everybody is skeptical of blue checks on Twitter, and this just makes it even more suspicious. I mean, Twitter is so selective with who they give those to, and now you know, apparently, if he's right about that it helps also manipulate results. And you want to see something funny? Look who retweeted that post. Yep, they are in damage control indeed. Take a look at that name. If you're not looking at the screen, I'll give you a clue. Last name ends with Markey. All right, we got through most of the important stuff, to be quite honest. The rest of these posts come from the KickVic forums, which on that note, the KickVic forums have been so disappointing the last few weeks, slowing down so much. Sometimes they're only getting like 2 posts a day. Sometimes I don't even think they're getting any posts a day. It's really sad. But they're getting a good amount of posts today, considering. And here's what they have to say. One user wrote, so Screech's newest distraction is a leak of outtakes. I don't think they're outtakes in my opinion, and I can reasonably explain why. Continuing on, though. With some off-color humor. Off-color humor. These same people, if this came from like Vic, if Vic said the stuff that was said in these clips, oh my gosh, they would be calling it so much worse than off-color humor. They then continued to write, this prompted the stands, do draw, yeah, great spelling there, do draw, all sorts of false equivalencies and brought back the he got fired for a jelly bean narrative. They have also been bombarding Toei with hashtags as if they would care. Seems like the final efforts are going to be for nothing but one smear campaign after another, hoping to cause as much harm as possible. That sounds really ironic coming from a Kick Vic forum poster. My gosh, man. Another post. Let's go right through them. As for the outtakes, oh my gosh. I'll be frank, it reminds me of GUNN and all the stuff about his bad humor ages ago from the time when that was the humor de jour. I don't know what that's about. I don't care about GUNN as he had to show himself to have grown since, and it's just more distraction for the sake of distraction, especially as they tried to set up Sabbath, who has been mostly quiet as some big anti-Vic mastermind because OMG conspiracy. Okay, all right. These posts, man, there's so much nonsense here. We could be here all day picking it apart. So instead, we'll just move on. Here's another post. It reads, sure, some of the content contained in those outtakes were offensive. Outtakes, they're really pushing that narrative. But I'm sure at least back then, they didn't expect that such things would be leaked years later and to be used against them. Yeah, they might have been, I don't know, negligent with it. It's also not nearly as bad as many of the things that Kick Vic has said. That Kick Vic has said to women and people who have told Vic off. This person, oh my gosh, Kick Vic. Oh my gosh. They literally just wrote Kick Vic instead of I stand with Vic. They just made themselves look bad. Oh my gosh, the forums are such a joke, man. The Kick Vic forums are such a joke. They're acting as if they've never dropped a word like that, be it that word or that one, pick your poison. Yet those guys spew vitriol on the regular, so I don't know what they're acting all offended for. Because it comes down to bad business, unprofessionalism, breach of contracts, you know, things that matter. I guess things that you don't think about. VAs and crew are known to goof around behind the scenes and say and do things like that. They don't ever expect to get leaked. Something that comes to mind that's way worse is when Sabbath did something in a Rugrats storyboard jam. All right, these people really deflect. They don't acknowledge how the stuff works. It's a recurring theme with these people who are defending Funimation. They seem to have absolutely no business sense, like at all, like literally none. I'm actually stuttering because it's that bad. I don't even know how to describe how bad it is. And if you thought that was all bad, look at this one. Oh my gosh. I know looking at it's difficult with the image there, but guys, you know I do it for a good reason. And I'm glad most people are okay with that. I apologize. You know, I wish I didn't have to do it, but just know that the reason I put it there, it does work. It does work. Now, hopefully I don't jinx myself because I just said that, but here's another post. It reads, plus racket. You know, they call Ricada that. Well, to be fair, a lot of people call Ricada that, even friends of Ricada and all that jazz. Rackets, it's just a little nickname. Anyways, writes, plus racket is trying to turn it on Funimation as if somehow there isn't like 1,000 videos of Vic doing worse. Excuse me? 1,000 videos of Vic doing worse. Yeah, Kick Vic forums where they literally live in fantasy land and make things up, and they all spread the same narrative to each other, and they reinforce it that way. It's really a dangerous place. It really is. You have people like, I don't even want to get into it. They finish off by saying, like, they're just going to apologize and people will get over it. Not going to go like the Vic thing racket. So, there you go. Now, this one's from Twitter, and it's a little bit weird because this poster included like 10 retweets before this post of people saying that Funimation was like bad for this. I really don't know what this person was getting at. They linked like 10 posts that are not relative to the post they made here. So just know that. That's the context. This is in a thread with about 10 posts from the same user retweeting posts from other people that really aren't relevant to what he's saying here. And what he's saying here is this. Proof the Funimation / funny leaks are intended as a smear campaign / whataboutism to go after the people who have spoken out against Vic. Currently suing Funimation, 2 of their voice actors and 1 of the VAs, their significant other, because Vic Mignogna is a creep. So it's just ridiculous. It's so weird to me, man. It really is. How do these people not see the issues here? Again, we can take a look at it with or without Vic and his involvement. Vic being involved, of course, it makes it better. It makes the issues more proliferated, rather, to be quite honest. But even if the Vic situation isn't involved here, it's still certainly bad. It's a bad look. And if people like this don't understand why, oh my gosh, they really might want to get off Twitter, might want to get into the work environment or something. I don't know. It's not my place to tell them how to live their life. To be quite honest, I'm glad it's not either. I'm going to wrap this video up, though. That's about all I got for this one. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more defenses throughout the day. It's only 2 p.m. right now, and I can't wait to see how this continues to unfold. And in wrapping this video up, if I might ask you to subscribe and turn the notification bell on, if you haven't done so already, I would truly appreciate that. And I guess I phrased that a little bit odd. I'm asking you to subscribe and turn the notification bell on if you haven't already. That would be much appreciated, especially if you made it to the end of the video. Why not, right? Thumbs up, comment below, let me know what you think about all of this stuff. And again, I will keep you up to date with all of the news surrounding this. As more big plays are made on either side, I'll let you know. And some shout outs for the wonderful people who promoted the last video on Twitter only 2 hours ago. Funimation video, and lots of shout outs for that one. So, thank you very much, Joshua B, Crispy Note Ken, Geeky Kitty, Starlit Scythe, Tenshi Yuki, Jacob, Mr. Anime 343, Beck, Najiba, John W, The Lancaster Kid, Reed Profile, Jago, DXDKJ, Dusk Wolf, Cyclone Sama, Raiden 413, Vic Broly, Random Fandom, and that's it. All right, well, all done. Links in the description for you if you would be so inclined. Discord open to the public. Everybody's welcome. And we just added a new channel there, so check it out. Patreon, Teespring, merch store, in other words, links below for that as well. Get some cool perks back on Patreon, of course, some merch with the Teespring. Links are down there if you'd like to check them out, and I appreciate your support. I'll see you next time.